Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm Romica Spiegl-Jones. I'm an illustrator and designer based in Manchester. And today I will show you a speed painting or speed drawing of a children's book spread I'm working on at the moment. But before I start, I just wanted to show you how this all came about, the short planning process and which tools I use. So here you can see my tea. This is the paper I'm using. This is cast art watercolor paper smooth, A4, 300 grams per square meter. And I like this paper, I like the texture, I like the color, and it's affordable. Next, I like to listen to podcasts. This is the Creative Pep Talk, which I really like and highly recommend if you want to keep going and not lose hope in your creative career. And this is really good for illustrators and also other creatives. These are my trusted headphones. Bose Quiet Comfort, and I really love these headphones. They can completely cancel out any noise. This is active noise cancelling, and I will do a separate review about them because they're really comfortable and I highly recommend these. And then of course my tools of trade. These are my pencils, and I did a short review in my favorites video which you can view up there. About this pencil case, and also these are my pencils, which is a mix of Derwent Artist, drawing and polychromos Faber-Castell. Yes, so that's that. So this is the sketch that we will trace with a lightbox, and this is the process I will show you. And I think it's really good to see like how different people do their stuff, so I hope you enjoy this. Just before I start, I want to show you how this sketch even came to be, and I think this is really helpful if you want to learn how to prepare or how to plan a children's book spread. So all of this started with an online course I'm taking, which is called Matt's Make Art That Sells Bootcamp, which you can find linked below. I highly recommend this. It's only once a year, so it will only be next year. But this was part of an assignment to create 2 characters and a double page spread based on it. And I just enjoyed it so much that I decided to continue and make a story out of it. So these are these 2 characters, and I call them Archimedes and Philippa. And this is the little sketch that this double page spread is based on. So let me just zoom in and show you. This is just something that came to my mind. So it's more like a woodland scene, but I want to make it a little bit surreal because Archimedes is a mouse with wings, and all mice in this magical world have wings in my story. So I wanted to make it a little bit, not completely natural, and have him live in a house with a little vegetable patch and a huge dandelion. And this whole shape actually came about because of an acorn. So I don't want to go too deep into this, but just to see like this is how my thinking process works. And yes, so this idea was great, and I thought, this would be really nice for a beginning scene, like an outdoor scene. So what I did next is I did a small sketch, which you can see here. So you can see this is the house from before, but much more gestural, and I added Archimedes and Philippa there playing with an acorn, throwing it around over the washing line, and I thought this is a very nice scene to begin the story. So this was really quick, and you can see my sketches are very loose. I don't spend much time on this. Then what came next was a much more detailed sketch. These are just notes, and you can see the difference already between these 2, from this being much looser and quite the proportions of the page are not very detailed. Here what I do when I plan out a spread is I think about the original book size, what will it be, and then I usually divide it by 4 or by 2 depending on how big I want to work. So this is already the original ratio, just smaller, size down, because I find it very hard to work big. Everything kind of gets out of proportion, so I will show you just a quick tip on how to even if you draw small, how you can work larger for your final book and spread. So, like I said, these are the right proportions. I halved it because this is going to be a double page spread, and you can see this is already quite detailed, and this is my base, my foundation for my final sketch. So what I do is I sketch everything out in the right proportions how I want it, maybe see what kind of text could go. It's looser, but it's way more detailed already, and everything is already in the right place where I want it to be. So what I do next, I scan this in, and depending on how light I want it to be, if I maybe didn't draw everything 100% precisely and I want to draw over it, then I would print it with the draft setting, which makes it much lighter, or I increase the brightness so the sketch comes out a little bit lighter, and then I print it in the size I want, which is A4, which this is my printer and my scanner can take A4, and this is also the size of my paper. Of course this is only work for a portfolio at the moment, but if I would do this for a real project with a client, then of course I would always work at the size 100% or larger of the final outcome. And this is just a really easy way to have a small sketch and then work larger. Okay, so here you can see this is just much larger. It's a little bit blurry, but this is no problem because this is just for us to try different color schemes and maybe correct some lines. But it's a really helpful tool if you're not comfortable drawing larger. And everything is still fine in proportion, that's great. So what I do, I print a few of those, and then I do some color testing. And often one color testing is enough, and then I can proceed. But with this one here, I used my pencils and I started to sketch over it and just follow the lines, sometimes correct a few things. And then I realized, okay, so here I inverted the colors by accident. Actually the head would be this kind of nice magenta and the body is yellow. So I made a little note for myself that when I actually trace it, then I know this actually has to be other way around. And with this patch, although I really love this blue and the contrast between this lighter blue and this darker blue, I felt this whole scene was a bit too blue. I don't know. Somehow it just was too strong, and the whole the attention kind of gets drawn to this side too much. So what I decided, after speaking to someone else, was to take another piece of paper that I printed out, so it's the same, and I just corrected the colors here how I thought maybe it works better. And like this, you don't have to do the whole thing again. You can just see, okay, this actually makes the whole scene lighter. It looks more open and not as closed as with this, for example. So I think I just want to show you this can really help if you work traditionally. Of course, if you work digitally, then this is not necessary. But if you work traditionally, then this saves you a lot of time, because I didn't want to do everything again where I felt this was fine. I only wanted to correct one piece. So this is really great to test things. And I just folded the things away that I don't need, and this doesn't really distract from the main image. So one more time, so you can see here, it's quite strong, and I like it, but it just doesn't really work this time. And like this, I think it's better. Yeah, so this is really helpful. Really great. Good. So let's start tracing. I think the tracing, now that I spoke so much, I think I will put it into the next video in part 2, and then you can see the whole speed drawing tracing process of the final image of this and how I do that. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.